Hey everyone, I'm so excited about this week's embodiment flavor of the week. This is Julie Migneault, and I'm here with Tobin Giblin. Hey Tobes.
Hi, Julie. Hey, Julie.
My favorite part of what we do is these little flavors.
These are so great, and I love how they all interweave, they all overlap, but we can pull one out each week and just really focus on it, and it just gives us that flavor, that ring of a quality of our true nature that we can connect to and start to live from more and more.
And it's helping me in my life to, as we explore a flavor, to really hold myself accountable to embodying it in my life in a deeper way, which is
Oh
so
yeah.
nutritious for my life. It's creating shifts. So I hope that that's
Oh,
true
amen.
for those who
Oh
are
yeah,
listening.
exactly. That's what these are for, and I
Mhm.
think we're receiving the direct transmission because we're talking about it, but hopefully that's rippling out into anyone who takes the time and brings their heart to these dialogues that we have, and I hope it's impacting, and just I encourage you as a listener to just let it ring inside of you, and then for you to then translate that into the moments to come as you go to the bank, as you go to the store, as you interact with your partner, your friends, whatever it is. Just bring these flavors into the moments of your life. That's really the idea.
Uh-huh. All right, so let's introduce this week's flavor. Embodiment flavor of the week is
Authenticity,
hmm,
which I think again is we're really right in on the essence of things. Authenticity is another way of saying, our truth, our true nature, our true way of being.
yeah,
And we're
unconditioned way of being.
the unconditioned, exactly. I
Yeah, and I
love
was
that
telling
way
you
of saying.
earlier that when you even say the word authenticity, my system relaxes. It's like, ah. And part of that's
Yeah.
because, part of my wounding is being very sensitive. Part of my work now is to be a sensitive, but being really sensitive to
Hmm.
what's going on subtle levels, and then not having that spoken or acknowledged in the world around me, in my family, and in the culture, society, community I was living in, which was so painful. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
So when there is authenticity, when someone speaks their truth, my system relaxes
Yeah.
because I can feel,
Yeah.
okay, my world and what I'm sensing is here.
I'm so with you, and more and more. I mean, I think as children we were born in this state of genuineness, of being in touch with ourselves. We don't know anything else, but everybody around us, lots
Many
of people
times,
around us on
yeah.
this planet, yeah, they're doing something else. They're covering up. They're doing the right thing, being the right way, trying to teach us to do
Right,
things that are based in a separation kind of ideal,
right.
and it cuts us off and it hurts.
And it does
So
hurt.
we're on the
And,
path. This is like
when
the path of coming back into our true nature, into our authenticity.
And the
And
reason that this is a path and that we have to work it is because when we were young, for many of us who had that kind of experience where we were trying to fit into belief systems that weren't our authentic true nature, it was it was survival for us in those precognitive stages and in our early childhood. It was survival for us because survival meant love, and love a lot of times meant doing it in a way we were conditioned. So I have to do
yeah,
this in order to get love, which is survival. So there's first that
yeah,
undoing to feel safe within ourselves as a container in order to allow
yeah.
ourselves to be authentic, which is why I really think this is a journey. And when I tune
Mm-hmm.
into my soul just says, "Oh, you're human. Your work for the rest of your life will be to become more and more in touch with deeper layers of your true nature and to express it." So even if we're
Yeah,
practiced at this, there's always going to be ways we're finding more and more of the truth of who we are and expressing it. And so
yeah.
it's not like a place to get to living authentically. It's a journey to be on.
That's right. And it's an ever unfolding journey, an ever refining journey. We're just always listening and aligning and
Mm-hmm.
deepening in this thread, this blooming, like a flower that just keeps expressing more and more of that that authentic nature that we are. And that can be so different. As human beings, we're so unique, and we're unique in every moment. So there's not a formula to this. There's not a right way.
Right.
What I encourage is a listening. It's a very sincere listening, and being willing to express something that has that ring of truth. You can feel it when somebody's being real and when they're not. For me, at this point, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It's so evident when I or someone around me or a group of people is living from more of the surface, fake, false. I have a hard time with it, harder and harder. And yet when I'm in myself, or I'm around people who are living and expressing from this more authentic vibration or quality, it just feeds me. It nourishes my soul. It's what I love the most. And it can be every facet, every flavor. It can be full spectrum, from the most corny and weird to the most deep and tearful, and everything in between, depending on the moment and what's real to that lived experience of your life.
One thing that I've said to people is, like what you were saying about feeling other people being authentic and how that becomes painful. One of the things that actually, when I lived in New York City, even though it was a less spiritual place and people were less maybe accessing what I would call their spiritual divine self, they were still being authentically who they were.
Right.
And so it was like totally refreshing in that way. Nobody was trying to pretend that they were more cheerful, loving, in many ways. And to live in a spiritual community and see the ways that actually authenticity gets overridden is to deny those places within us that we don't maybe attribute as being loving or caring. And for me, that's actually
the more shadowy aspects of ourselves.
Then just, even if you're not willing to look at your shadow, at least acknowledging that you have it by being like, I don't know if you can get that flavor of what I'm trying to express, but
oh yeah, completely. It's really like including the shadow, including the wholeness of who you are. This is light, shadow. This is human. We are human. How do we have that be real? And I do think it's like it's an art form. It's a real. That's why I call it a listening, because if we're not listening, we can kind of tilt toward one side or the other. New York and Maui sort of, in some ways, they express the polar opposites of what it means to be, not so authentic. To me, you can use these teachings. Hey, I'm going to be authentic, so I'm just going to tell everybody exactly what I feel all the time. That's not totally authentic all the time.
No.
It may include that, but authenticity, again, has a ring. It has a ring of unity. It has a ring of, I'm really in touch with the whole of what's going on, which includes every bit of me and every bit of what's going on around me.
Right.
And when we're in touch with that and we let ourselves express it, it has a certain feeling to it.
What I'm sensing is when we embody authenticity, we listen deeply, we access what our truth is, and as we live it, it opens us to the deeper true nature of our being to express. I'm feeling angry at you right now, for example. How is my authenticity of owning that, of acknowledging it, a doorway to accessing what's even deeper, what's even more true than that, which is, I've got a sticky belief system under here that's not allowing me to see you clearly, or, there's something here it's not an integrity for me in the way we're relating, so I need to adjust, or I need to share it with you so you can adjust. It's authenticity in an embodied sense brings us into the expression of our true nature and creates relating that allows us to meet. And I think part of your and I journey has been, where's that meeting point where we both authentically get to be fully who we are? That's been a big part of our journey.
I agree. And I love the way what you said, like that authenticity opens the doorway it's like a portal into a deeper level of our truth, a deeper level of authenticity.
Right.
So if anger is the portal, it's the point at which I can access right now, and I'm really authentic with that within myself.
Right.
I'm not just going to splay it out or hit somebody on the head or tell them they're bad and wrong. I'm going to feel it. I might even say, wow, I'm really angry and upset. And then if I do that in an authentic way, it will lead me to what's underneath, which is, wow, I really need to express this truth. What you did feels off to me, or even, wow, I feel really hurt, and I have tears that I'm trying to avoid. I might end up crying. I might end up bawling, which then may lead to a tenderness in my heart that I've been afraid to feel my whole life. Who knows? But this authentic thread, it keeps opening and keeps showing itself and revealing more if we're willing to ride it.
Yeah.
Within ourselves and with each other.
Right. And the other side of authenticity on a non-emotional process side of things is the authenticity of listening to who am I as a gifted soul in the world, and can I let myself be that? Can I express my power? Can I say, I'm an effing musician. I'm not going to become an accountant because that's what society says I'm supposed to be. A lot of times that authenticity, it requires us to face into ourselves and acknowledge that we've been betraying ourselves in some big ways by not listening to how our being wants to express in the world in a way that creates the most fulfillment, the most service, and the most joy. So that's another way I see we get to explore how we can embody authenticity is, oh my God, I've got all these untapped gifts and ways that create deep peace and fulfillment in me, and it's not been okay to have them. It's been too scary, whatever. How can I begin to allow myself to have those parts of myself and live them?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think what you're pointing to is that authenticity there's threads into every part of our life, the inner part, the outer part, the way we're expressing in our work, the way we're with our friends, the way we are in our relationships. It has its tendrils in every part of our existence. And what I've seen is that for most of us, for a while, finding our way back into authenticity in all these different aspects of our life, it feels like swimming upstream because our culture is so much going in one direction, and to find our authenticity and live it, we have to paddle in the other direction from our culture. Ultimately, what we find is the river turns around and it just feels like, that's the most natural, fluid, normal thing in the world. Thank God, all I have to do is relax and be authentic. But for a while, for most of us, we have to work at it because of the conditioning in us and around us.
Totally.
But you're right, there's so many different ways it shows up, and I want to encourage us and everyone else to take that on this week as an inquiry, as a practice. How can I show up a little more authentically right now within myself, within this situation, in the big scheme of my life? All of it.
So with that invitation, I'm going to commit to really listening this week to the next place in me that wants an expression authentically, whether it be messy or pure and beautiful or scary. And I invite
or weird and big, all of it. Or tender and small. It could be the most tender thing. It could be the most big thing. Like, I need to dance on the beach with my iPod really crazy even though people are around. Or, wow, I need to tell my partner that I'm, fill in the blank, that scary thing. Or anywhere in between. Let's all live that a little more and see how that affects our lives and the world.
Let's do it. All right. I'm really excited because this week we have a very special treat. We've invited our guests who came on a couple weeks ago from dailyrelationship.com, Brendan and Juna, to dance authenticity with us this week. So,
they're perfect.
Isn't that awesome? They're so courageous, they're so aligned, and they're so committed to authenticity. So I'm really excited to share with you the dance of authenticity from Brendan and Juna.
All right.
Enjoy. We'll be back next week with our flavor of the week, everyone.
All right.
Thanks, Tobin.
Thank you, Julie.
Dancing authenticity.